Hello, fellow drinkers at the Jolly Heretic. Resident Poet here, and a hello again to those of us joining from History Debunked. Now, as always, I'll start off with a quick roundup of Ed's quick pint videos that he's done over the last few days. And one of the first ones I saw was where he addressed the question of, were the moon landings faked? In fact, this topic proved so controversial, he ended up doing 2 videos, hence 2 poems. Ed tells us of Dear Mr. Ben, a story from I don't know when. And as for the moon, it's surely jejune to think that we'll go there again. In a sense, we return to the moon, back at the Dutton Saloon. But to do this again, with a countdown from 10, isn't happening anytime soon. So hopefully you enjoyed those 2 lunar rhymes, as it were. Now, another couple of things I've noticed that Ed posted on Twitter over the last few days was a poll on whether civil servants ought to be able to vote. Working in the public sector is like being fed golden nectar. A fine antidote, deny them the vote. They've no right to be an elector. And also on Twitter, Ed gave an example of nominative determinism, where someone with the surname Cockbane voiced concerns on how balanced GB News' reporting was on the terrible stories of grooming gangs. It seems that our Dr. Cockbane has opted to go and complain. She's heard racist views aired on GB News and now has a nasty migraine. So that was the story of Dr. Cockbane. Last night's stream, hopefully some of you, or indeed all of you, caught it, was live from Lapland, where Ed is taking a little break. But of course, that didn't stop him from broadcasting to us as normal. Our landlord has turned off the taps. He's off on a break with the laps. It's something he's earned, and when he's returned, he'll bring cheer to us heretic chaps. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And now we turn to history Debunked, where, of course, Simon has been very, very busy. He first told us of the wonderful story of how Oxford and Cambridge were both hoodwinked by a gentleman of West African origin claiming to be a distinguished academic. We return again to education and one fellow's exaggeration. To Oxford he swanned, and they were soon conned. Perhaps it was his pigmentation. And Carlotta, our Spanish barmaid at the Jolly Heretic, in the comment section to one of the videos, reminded us of the chap doing the sign language at Nelson Mandela's funeral quite a few years ago now. And instead of providing a record of the solemn proceedings, all of his sign language turned out to be translated to complete and utter nonsense. And this prompted me to write a poem. There once was an African signer. His errors were more than just minor. The arms ever flailing, he sadly was failing, but humour I've never seen finer. And now it's time for today's funny story, which features an American couple who are celebrating 40 years of marriage. And the man says to his wife, "Okay, sweetie, so we've had 40 years of ups and downs, but at least there's one thing we can celebrate. We've had 40 years of fidelity." And his wife says, "Actually, I've got a confession to make. I've been unfaithful to you 3 times. And the man says, "You're joking. Well, I want to know the details. Come on, out with it." And then the wife says, "Well, you remember years and years ago when you were just first starting out in business and you wanted a promotion and the boss wasn't keen to give it to you?" And the man says, "Yeah, I remember. What of it?" And the wife says, "Well, I slept with your boss so that you'd be promoted." And the man says, "Oh my God, but that's terrible, but at least you were trying to help me, I suppose. So I suppose I can rationalize it that way. What about the second time?" And his wife says, "Well, you remember a few years later you were in that accident and we didn't have adequate medical insurance?" And the man says, "Yeah, honey, I remember that. What happened?" And his wife says, "Well, I slept with the doctor and he managed to waive the insurance so you could have the operation." And the man says, "Okay, I suppose. I mean, you could have saved my life, so I suppose that's a good thing, right?" And the wife said, yeah, I suppose." And then the man says, "What about the third time?" And the wife says, "Okay, well, you remember you were running to be president of the golf club and you were short by 73 votes? So that was today's funny story. So that was just a roundup from me today of the Jolly Heretics output and that of History Debunked. If you did enjoy it, please do like and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see each other very soon. Goodbye.